Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on today? Well, the markets, Dow's up about 100, Nasdaq's up about 10 points. Markets are kind of in this upward trajectory. Everything's great. Just look at the stock market. Stock market's doing well. Means everything's great. There's no recession. We've conquered inflation. Jobs are everywhere. Just look at the stock market. The economy is doing fabulous. That's what they want you to believe. Now look, I could go sit on the beach with Billy Bob and just relax and take it easy, but I'm obsessed with the markets. I'm obsessed with what's really going on, not what the mainstream media is telling you is going on. Okay, why do I bring up Zimbabwe? Why do I bring it up? Look at the chart of Zimbabwe, right? I mean, they're up 600%. 600% for the year. Now we're up a lot. The S&P is up, about 20%, right? And the Nasdaq's up almost 50%. Just look at the stock market. Everything else is fine. Look, I don't think the economy's doing well here. I don't think the economy's doing well in Zimbabwe. Now maybe Zimbabwe has more homeless people than the United States, but I'm not even sure of that anymore. Look at corporate bankruptcies are like at record high. Why would corporate bankruptcies be at record high if everything's going so well? I just don't believe it. Now look at I'll be the first to admit the stock market's on pace for its best year ever. Now in Zimbabwe, I don't know if they've had years up more than 600%, but the stock market on pace to make a record year, the best ever. Does that mean the economy's doing the best ever? No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But they want you to look at the stock market. Now I'd look at the banks. The banks just reported earnings, right? And their stocks are booming. But what happened to the banking system just this year? Well, 3 of the top 30 banks already went down. Now, do you think those problems have all gone away? Do you think everything's fine now? Record profits, the stocks are booming? I don't see it that way. Matter of fact, I know banks are in trouble. The reason I know banks are in trouble is because the banks are borrowing money. This shows you that they're borrowing money. They're trying to get money to pay you. They don't have their deposits anymore. Their investments went down. Look at Goldman Sachs, and this was Lehman Brothers, and right there we're up like at record highs for the banking system borrowing money. They're trying to get money in so that they can pay their depositors. They're still having runs on the banking system. I don't think everything's okay. That's just my take. Now, will this market break? Eventually it will. Maybe we get to a new high first. I'm not really sure. But I want to move over to the real estate market. I want to talk about the crisis. Yes, crisis. The crisis that will cause the implosion of the real estate market. Now, that sounds far-fetched, right? I mean, the real estate market's strong. It's still going up. It's doing great. In your area, it only goes up, and people get so upset when I talk about this. Now, I'm calling for a 50% retracement in the housing market. Now, that only brings us back to 2012. It could become a lot worse than that, but that's what I'm calling for, the correction. Now, what is the crisis, Mike? What's going to bring this market down? Well, you see, a lot of people are talking about where the inventory is. Where's the inventory going to be coming from? Well, is it going to be coming from the Airbnb people? Maybe that's a little slice of it. Is it going to be coming from the people that get divorced? Possibly. That's a real small slice. From people that lose their job and have to sell. Yeah, that's a slice. It's coming from those areas, but that's not where the major source of inventory is going to be coming from. No, the major source of inventory that's going to bring the housing market coming imploding downward is going to be coming from the retirement people. Look, there's a crisis in America. People cannot afford to retire. I have so many clients. Look, I'm at retirement age, thereabouts. I'm in my early 60s. And my friends, a lot of them are 65 and over. Now, do you realize who owns most of the homes in the United States? Well, over about 50% of homes are owned owned by people 55 years of age and older. 55 years of age and older own 50% of the homes. But if you get to the retirement age, 65, 70-year-olds and older, I'm going to be very conservative here. I don't have the exact number, but it's more than 30 million homes. More than 30 million homes are owned by people who are retired. Okay, now what happened during the pandemic? Well, a lot of people retired. They retired early because the pandemic kind of forced the situation, forced them into lockdown. They didn't want to deal with going back to work, so they just said, I'm going to retire. So they retired a little bit early, a lot of people. Now, here's some things that they did not plan for. They did not plan for these increases in expenses that they're having caused by inflation. They didn't plan for this inflationary rate, right? They didn't plan for their taxes going up on their houses. They didn't plan for their insurance skyrocketing, home insurance doubling, tripling, car insurance going up a lot. I just got my renewal. It's up like 25% year over year. That's a lot of money, right? Okay, and there's expenses. And, when you're retired, you're kind of on this fixed income. So now retirees, about 50% of them already are living in poverty. 50% of people that are retired live in poverty. How's that possible, Mike? We're the richest country in the world, and I get that. But most retirees that I know, well, they have a house. They have a house, but that's where all their money is. They're cash poor. They don't have any other money. Their money is in their house. Now, how are they going to get the money out of the house? And a lot of these people still have a mortgage. I know you're thinking, Mike, they're 65 years old. They wouldn't have a mortgage. Well, they do. Why? They had to refinance. They had to pull some money out so they could live the high life. But now they're a little bit worried because they're on the fixed income. They're getting the Social Security. Now, look at this retirement crisis is a lot bigger than you realize. All right. So the retirement crisis, first of all, pension funds. Pension funds are so underfunded. They're so in trouble. Why? Well, because they were doing the same thing the bankers were doing. They were trying to get yield. And so they were buying risky investments. A lot of pension funds own those big skyscraping towers. Well, they have the mortgage on them, and those things are down by about 50%. So they're underfunded. The pension funds are underfunded. A lot of pension funds, I couldn't believe this. I had to look this up. You can Google it. You can look it up. But a lot of pension funds take your hard-earned money and then they're investing in crypto. Right? Okay. Well, what was Bitcoin? It was 70,000. Now it's down around 30,000. Once again, over half off. A lot of these pension funds are so underfunded. So here's what's going to happen. The money you think you're going to get from the pension fund, it's not going to be there. You're going to get a slice. Maybe the slice is only 20% less. Maybe it's 50% less. Maybe the pension fund goes completely belly up. And we're looking at the same thing in Social Security. Social Security people think that they have all the money. No, the government had a great plan. They took your money. Guess what they did with it? They spent it. The Social Security system isn't funded. It's called an unfunded liability. The unfunded liability of the Social Security system, along with the Medicare system. We're talking tens of trillions, maybe more, maybe 100 trillion, some people estimate. It's a lot of money that's not funded. So the pension funds, a lot of trouble. The Social Security problem, a lot of trouble. Now, Mike, they're never going to cut Social Security benefits. And I'd agree with you. That would be political suicide. And these politicians, they don't have your best interests at heart. They just want to keep in power. So they're not going to cut the Social Security system. What are they going to do? They're going to print money like it's going out of style. They're going to print and print more and more money, right? That's what they're going to do. Now, what does that do to your money when they print money? It makes your money worth less. Your purchasing power worth less. But remember, you're retired now. You're on a fixed income. Yes, you're going to get your little Social Security check, but it's not going to buy anything. You can go to the grocery store with your Social Security check. They might give give you a loaf of bread and some eggs. It's going to get that bad. Now, I know this is negative, and people go, but Mike, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. The one guy, he's telling me that houses weren't in a bubble. Houses aren't in a bubble, Mike. Once you adjust for inflation, they're not in a bubble. They're in the biggest bubble of all time. Look at this is Case Shiller. Case Shiller, we are in the highest bubble. This chart is adjusted for inflation. When you adjust for inflation, we are still in the largest housing bubble of all time, the largest housing bubble the world has ever seen. Now, yes, I'm calling for 50% off. And yes, there's a lot of scared people out there. They don't want me to say that. They need you to come and buy. They need you to come and buy their properties. These retired people are going to putting their property onto the market because that's the only way they can get the cash that they need to live a lifestyle for the remainder of their life is to sell their house. So a lot of these retired people are going to be putting their property onto the market, and they need someone to buy, right? They need someone to buy, and that's you. They need you to buy. If you don't buy, what's going to happen to the price? What's going to start to go down? You see, houses are sold on the margin. So many people don't get this. They think that their house is going to stay up when some people have to sell. Now, Billy Bob, he got out at the top, but the next guy, he's going to get a little bit less. The next guy, a little bit less. The next guy, a little bit less. Pretty soon, the houses freeze up. The housing market locks up. Now, this isn't going to happen tomorrow. Everybody thinks, but Mike, you're wrong. It didn't happen this week. And here you are with another video telling us houses are going to go down. Yes, it did not happen this week. It's not going to happen next week. This takes years to play out. Look, you buy a house now, you may be fine for 6 months. Maybe it doesn't drop. Maybe you're fine for a year, but when you buy a house, you're not really in the house flipping business. Now, if you are, there's probably going to be some deals. There's probably deals right now. There's always deals in the real estate market. If you can find them, if you can find that needle in the haystack, you find a house where the seller has to sell and he's taking 30% off and you want to flip it, absolutely, that's a very good, profitable business still. Okay, but here's the thing. The people are going to have to sell, and the first one makes it out up here, but once the market starts going into free fall, the market locks up, and it locks up really fast. It doesn't recover, doesn't come back. It doesn't recover. I don't think we're going to see the highs that we saw just, a year ago. I don't think we're going to see those highs again. I think that was it. A market's been flat a little bit to the downside. Not in your area. Your area is still booming. We all know that. But look, it's still coming down. It's just starting. It's just getting started. Now, you'll probably be all right. You bought it 2023. Maybe you're still okay in 2024. Maybe it's flat, but you get out there 2025, 2026, 2027. That's really not that long away. 3 or 4 years from now, you're going to be in tears. You're going to be crying because this is going to come in. And my prediction, by 50%. Do I have proof of that? No, I have no proof of that. Look, if you think houses are going to double from here, please go out and buy. I'm a broker. I'll sell you one. People don't get that. They think I want to be right. People in the comments say, oh, Mike, you're so wrong. I want to be wrong. I don't want to be right. I'm a real estate broker. I have most of my net worth is in my house. I'm one of those baby boomers that have the net worth sitting in the house. Yes, I should sell the house. I could go have a great retirement. I could go hang out with Billy Bob on the beach for as long as I want. It would be fabulous, but I'm not going to do that because I love my house. I'm not moving, going to stay here. But look, I'm just one of those people that's going to come down 50%. I don't want it to come down 50%. I want it to double. I don't want to be right that there's going to be a 50% retracement. I want to be wrong. I want prices to go up. I'm a real estate broker. I still sell houses. Every now and then I sell one, right? I get paid a lot of money to do that, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 just to sell one house. And if they double from here, my commission will double. I want them to go up so people can't really figured that out. Mike, why are you telling us that prices are going to go down? Every other real estate agent out there saying, hey, it's a great time to buy. Get out there and buy. Well, because I want you to know what's going to happen. I've lived through this. I've seen this movie before. But Mike, it's so different than 2008, and you're absolutely right. The bubble is twice as big. It's bigger. It's larger. It's going to pop. All bubbles pop. Look I know no one believes this until it's too late. And then they say, oh crap, that boomer was right. The boomer was right. He got it right. I don't want to get it right. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong. That's just my take, though. Look, the retirement problem is a big problem. So you got 30 million people, 30 million homes in the age bracket of, I'd call it 70 and above. Those people are moving into nursing homes. They're dying off. They don't have money. They have to figure out how to get money out of the home. Some of them are doing reverse mortgages. That's a terrible option, in my opinion. But some of them are doing that. But let's say out of those 30 million people, maybe 10%. Maybe 10% end up having to sell. What does that do? It dumps 3 million houses onto the market. That's where your inventory is coming from. It's not coming from the Airbnb. It's not coming from the divorces, the relocations, the job losses. That's not where the big inventory is coming from. The big inventory is demographic. 70 and above, 65 and above. The retirement people on fixed income are going to need money. Where are they going to resort to? They're going to resort to the only place they have money, and that's their house. I have a lot of clients. They're already talking about, they're going to sell. And, that's the age bracket. They don't need the big house anymore. They'll let the millennial come and buy. They'll let the Gen Y, Gen Z, whatever generation it is that's coming up, they'll buy that house. So you got these people that are retired, that are living, half of them in poverty already, and as prices continue to go up, it's going to be so sad for old people. Old people on fixed incomes. That's what inflation does. Inflation, it hurts the poor. It hurts the elderly. But, hey, it makes those people like Jerome Powell, they get more rich. Look at the stock market. Look at the stock market. It's going up. It's going to the moon. Everybody get in. Get in. I don't think it's going to the moon. We'll see. It might reach a new high. It's very possible. We're real close. We're getting like 4 or 5% away from a new high. NASDAQ booming 50%. S&P up 20%. We're on pace for a record year. The economy must be a record, right? Everything's great out there. Get out there, everybody. Have a good day. I'm Tall Mike. If you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. Why not? Why not? Get out there. Enjoy the day. Bye-bye now.